Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up. Then that be poking out them jeans up and sparking up. Like the fireworks, I keep the flame. Heard you parking up. It's the wrong tree, I got the strings. Yeah, I'm charging up. They can't keep up, got them looking drained. Now they walking up. Trying to put the face to the name. Pull up.
I ain't gonna lie, that intro give me hype every time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to a special edition of the GOW Over Under series. And if you don't know, we about to explain how it goes. We give our thoughts the last 3 weeks on the latest tag teams, man. He get two, I get two. And we talk whether we feel like they're overrated, underrated, or perfect just where they are. We go over their careers, so on and so forth. Bro, as always, I'm the franchise. You are the king. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good, bro. You know how we do, man. You know, like I said, we enjoy this thing that we do here, man. It's definitely taking off, and we want to, just add our next chapter to it. So let's go, man.
Let's get it, man. Well, we ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna dive right into it, man. I'm kind of torn on who I want to bring up first, so I'm gonna go. All right. Well, first of all, can we all agree that we can leave the Road Warriors last?
That's fine.
All right. Well, then with that being said, we're leaving the Road Warriors last. Let's go with the team that's current, the Hardy Boyz, man. The Hardy Boyz, Matt and Jeff, straight out of North Kakalaki, Cameron, North Carolina, man. The Hardy Boyz debuted in the late 90s, really made their name known in WWE through the early to mid 2000s. Of course, man, they had those series of matches with the other greats like the Dudley Boyz, Edge and Christian, who are also going to get talked about tonight. Bro, they've literally won tag team gold. And that's going to be a theme of this show. They've literally won tag team gold in every company that they have been a part of together. They had a nice little run of Impact. And, of course, they had an expedition to go before making their return back to WWE. I believe it was at 2018, 2019. You had a brief little moment where they were part of the New Brew with Gangrel. You also had Team Extreme with Lita, who I felt complimented them great. And of course, man, I have a thing for tag teams. When you got the one female in there, man, it just, it just makes the balance feel right. But dude, okay, let's jump right into it. Hardy Boyz, present day, not looking so Hardy Boy like. But that does not take away from the 30 plus years, man, that they've trailblazed in professional wrestling. Like I said, man, now they're in AEW. They had a little run of Impact, but bro, everybody knows them from their time in WWE. I think at one point in time, man, everybody did the Jeff Hardy juke. You was in the kitchen or in the bedroom, man, and you was throwing that hand up, and you was up there, throwing your gyrating your pelvis to the ceiling, and you had any holes in your arm, cutting them out, looking like AI, bro. Jeff Hardy, one of my favorites, the charismatic enigma. I love that. I love even when they went their own separate ways with Matt Hardy. A lot of people like the broken and woken gimmick. Me, I actually really like the version 1. Gimmick of Matt Hardy when he would come out with the Matt facts and stuff like that. People don't really remember his time with Shannon Moore. That was a nice little time. People really didn't like the fact that he was in the cruiserweight division. A lot of people hated that. And they're like, bro, your big ass ain't no goddamn cruiserweight. Like, why are you fighting Rey Mysterio for the cruiserweight title and shit like that? But overall, it's a tag team, man. I really feel like they are perfect right where they are at. I feel like if you know wrestling and you know the Hardy Boyz and you actually watch them in real time, they deserve all the praise they get, which is why I think they get so much flack now, because we know how great they were and we want to remember them in that light. Bro, what are your thoughts?
It's hard for me to talk down about the Hardy Boyz, man, because we've seen enough of these guys to where even for now or even then, it's like these guys got 2 different stints of a run, and they made the most out of it. So when you think of their first run coming up through WWE, they were kind of like them. They were kind of like some prodigies from that ECW time, but they didn't really do much there. So then they got that light. They got that opportunity in WWE, but so it was like a big thing they were doing there. It was just kind of like, it was an option. It was an option, but they chose something different. But that first little run, man, it took a minute because they were seen as Gangrel 2.0.
Yeah.
Because original Gangrel was Edge and Christian, and then it was like
Yeah.
then they came up, and it was just like, all right, but they had a different style, man. They had that kind of cautious to the wind style that you hadn't seen from a tag team. And as far as they was willing to go and what they were willing to do, Jeff Hardy jumped doing suicide dives off the railing of the fans onto a guy on the table or off of a ladder, and he hitting or missing. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
Jeff hit 50-50 hit or miss with some of them dives. But they definitely had an excitement. They had a way that they worked with each other. That's why I say, man, when you look at the Hardy Boys now, it's like, yeah, they still do some of the some of that, but they move a lot slower because
Yeah.
you see the years of what has put on them. Now earlier we talked with PCO and I asked him, as somebody who has been doing this business for a long time, and he went through kind of a little bit of what he had to go through and just going to bed early, waking up early, not hanging out so much, taking care of your body, working, making sure you're working out and doing the things you need to do to have that longevity. And I think the problem for them, and why a lot of people are kind of like, even though we appreciate them, but why they're kind of falling off is because we're not, the excitement of the Hardys isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. They're just there. You can just really see it. But also, man, it's the trouble that Jeff has been going through, and some of Matt's trouble has kind of halted or it really just halted up major things for them sometimes moving forward. But overall, regardless of the cruiserweight stuff with Matt, they didn't have nothing to do with him. Matt, that was like Christian. It was just one of those guys WWE just did not have a lot of faith in. The more popular person was Edge. The more popular person was Bubba Ray. The more popular person was Jeff Hardy. Devon, Matt, and Christian were kind of like y'all the guest characters, man. Y'all just get to show up and just be a part of this thing. And that's kind of sad to say it like that. It is kind of sad to say it like that. But when you look at everybody's careers, you can say that. But as a team, the Hardy Boys had some of the best matches. They did some of the most craziest things. They were a part of some of the most historical matches that TLCs will never. You'll never get 3 tag teams like that ever again.
Yeah.
Like WWE tried, and they almost kind of succeeded if they'd have stuck out with one more team. But you kind of had that with the New Day and the Usos. They've kind of been those standard of tag teams, but and they've never done a TLC match. Think about that. Out of all the matches they've ever had, they've never done one. Why doesn't WWE, put your newer tag teams into that fold with them? And you could, what I'm saying, they got to replace the TLC match, but it would be a nice updated change to get a couple of updated teams that are really good. But we never really got that. So for me, when I look at the Hardy Boys, I do think they're a bit overrated, but also underappreciated. Like I do think that there is some overratedness about the Hardy Boys, as far as when you put them up against certain teams. Like when we say Edge and Christian and Dudley Boys, we know what we got from them because of what those 3 dynamics just brought as a team. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of
before you look, I want to give you a chance to explain yourself. But before we move on to the next one, I guess what, in your opinion, is overrated about the Hardy Boys?
I think what was overrated about the Hardy Boys was honestly, it might have just been them. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe you know what? Now that I think about it, I really can't say for sure what was really overrated about them. But I feel like there was something. No, you know what? I gotta scratch that. There was nothing overrated. They were fine where they're at. It took them a minute to get up, and once they got there, they were always one of those top tag teams. I think people just didn't want to see them split up, but that just kind of went along with being a tag team in WWE. But
yeah,
No, when you really think about it, because when they worked together, they had their own individual things, but together they were the Hardy Boys. Like you, Team Extreme, you really enjoyed it. So no, I would actually have to change that to say that maybe a little underappreciated, but definitely in the right spot. Like they're perfect where they're at.
Okay.
And thinking of them now, yeah, they are a bit overrated for now
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're not that top team. They're not in the best of health of shape to really compete at the level that I think they want to. So yeah, and I think maybe that's where the overrated comes from. Is it's more of what they're looking like now. Um, but overall, no, I can't throw that on them because of now. I got to look at everything they did, especially when they left and they was winning the Ring of Honor, New Japan, and Impact Championships before showing up for WrestleMania and the crowd. You just heard the loudest
Boy,
delete,
crazy.
delete, 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 deletes as he's walking down the ramp. So, um, no, man, they've definitely come in. They've definitely put some teams on the map, and no, man, the Hardy Boys are perfect right where they're at. I would say maybe a little underappreciated because a lot of people were quick to want to see Jeff be do his own thing. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
it is. It's more of people wanted to see Jeff do his own thing, but Matt was just kind of like that. Matt's just there, man.
Yeah. No, bro, absolutely. That's I mean, 'cause I know you got on me about the New Day. So like, hold on, man,
Yeah,
hold on.
nah,
You
yeah,
got to talk to me a
I
little
had to
bit
think
now. You got
about
to
it.
talk
I
to
had
me.
to pull it back a little bit because I'm like, no, that thing, like, okay, maybe I'm thinking of now, but it's like I can't think of now and think of all of that and say that's overrated. No, you got me on that one. You got me on that
All right, man. So look, we got them.
one.
Ooh, let's see. Okay. We got Road Warriors last. Okay, man. You know what? Let's shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, let's keep it with the three-headed monster. Let's go ahead.
We got the Dudley Boys. We
From
got
Dudley
Bubba
Boyz,
Ray and Devon.
man.
Oh shit! Damn, that's me.
Oh, Dudley Boys? No, they me.
Is that you?
No. You got Dudleys. No, Dudley Boys. So switch it up. So put up Edge and Christian instead.
Yeah. I was like, hold on,
We'll do
we can't do me two
We'll
back
do
to
Edge and
backs.
Christian.
All right,
No,
man. There we go. We
yeah,
got
we'll do Edge and
Edge
Christian.
and
We'll do Edge and
Christian,
Christian. We'll
now
do Edge
known
and
as
Christian.
Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. My God, these are your picks. Talk to the people. What was the reason that behind your pick?
These guys were definitely they're not overrated
Mhm.
um as individuals or as a tag team, but as a tag team,
Yeah,
boy,
yeah,
once they left Gangrel, man, they were something special.
yeah.
5 second pose and 1, 2, 3. Like, man, it's like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, for your man, come on, man. Like, Andrew Christian knew how to get under your skin. They
Yeah,
were those slimy, wormy, kind of just douchebags that you didn't want to see them win, but they found a way to win, and they worked well, and not just as individuals, as far as what they did in the ring, but as a cohesive team. Edge and Christian was one of the top teams, in wrestling because you had to really strategize for them.
yeah,
See, I think with the other teams, when we think of them, you didn't have to strategize so much. You just really had to outthink. You just had to outmaneuver them from time to time. Dudley Boys, you catch them at the right moment, boom, you can get them. Hardy Boys, you can catch them at the right moment, you can get them. Edge and Christian, you had to have eyes in the back of your head for Edge and Christian.
yeah,
For Edge and Christian, you really had to you had to let the hijinks not distract what they do inside the ring. And they were really good at that. They were really good at just really poking the bear and then pulling a wolf's eye over you, man. When we think about teams that are good at cheating, but that were very exciting, you think of the Los Guerreros, you think of the other, you think of the uh uh uh, uh what was another tag team? You think of the Outlaws. You think of some of the other teams that were very good at being sneaky. You think of the Four Horsemen when it was Arnie and his brother. You think about how those guys, Money Inc. You think about a lot of people and what they do and how they were always 2 steps ahead of you. Edge and Christian was always 2 steps ahead of everybody. So when you think of their reign, when you think of how many tag team championships they won together before they were winning tag team belts with other people, like
Yeah,
that was how good of a tag team that they are, that they can win together and win multiples with other people. But there's nothing like that Edge and Christian dynamic of how they fed off each other. Now, again, in the same way, you can kind of give the Hardys that same love. That's why I say they were perfect right where they were at. Maybe a little underappreciated. Uh, I don't feel that way about Edge and Christian because they made me hate them.
yeah,
They made me hate seeing them win. They made me hate, even though I laugh when they come out and do the Elvis impersonation, or when they come out and they making signs and mocking people in the back. Like, they made me hate them, but that was them doing great at what they're supposed to do and making me feel that way. And they found ways to win some of the biggest moments and biggest matches. And yeah, of course they had help. Of course they would have help. They're heels. Heels always have help in winning, but they always delivered. We could speak on individuals as far as what each man has done. And to be honest, they're probably the only team where you can really have that lineage for both guys. You can't say that really about Matt. Matt's done some stuff, but I wouldn't say Matt's been on the same run as Christian. Like, when I think of what Christian has done
yeah,
as an individual,
yeah.
Devon, none of them has, what he has. Again, there's the three that were really good, and there was the three that, and Vince didn't really deem to be that good. And
Right,
two
right.
of them, he just didn't really appreciate, because I think Matt Hardy could have did a lot more, which he did some stuff, and it wasn't bad, but he could have did a lot more, and it could have been a lot more important. Christian, on the other hand, he wasn't that bad. Like, it was just the fact that they just didn't really put him in too many world title pictures. But the mid card scene, he was killing it. Intercontinental Championship, United States Championship, he was having good matches. He was putting them on with people. Of course, Edge was doing his thing. But as a group, ENC, man, they were very methodical. That's why it's like, when you almost kind of got the thought that, oh man, Edge and Christian and AEW, but because of where Christian's character was, that's why I
Yeah,
was like, I don't see that just dropping the ball on that and it's just happening that way. Where it's like, we're just gonna put this together. But the thought of it, and still thinking, because these guys can still move at a nice little pace. Not to say you don't see them get tired, but they can have that kind of end of the run that the Hardys should have had if Jeff had never gotten in trouble when
yeah.
he was in AEW. Like that setup. Edge and Christian can have that, but right now, I'm fine with where it's at. But as a tag team, I am good with Edge and Christian being perfectly where they're at. I don't think they're overrated. I don't think they're underappreciated. I think Christian as a singles person was underappreciated. But as a tag team, no, Edge and Christian was perfectly right where they're at.
You know what's crazy, and it's funny because I was just gonna cap that off with saying what you just said. I was just about to say, as a team, super perfect right where they're at. But I was gonna say Christian's always kind of been like that unsung hero, right? Like,
Yeah.
Edge was just such a big personality, especially when he became a rated R superstar. It was like, damn, man, Captain Charisma was cool, but it ain't the rated R superstar. And but then when he had that
No,
run,
but he made it. But he made it Captain Charisma his own thing, because
yeah,
him going to Impact with it,
I was just about to
even
say,
though
yeah,
and being Christian, the charismatic Christian Cage, and just
yeah,
having that run, that showed us, man, damn, Christian really can. He can really hold his own spot in the main event. And then when he came
right.
back and fought Randy Orton in those great back and forth world title matches that he had with him, it's like, man, this dude was not appreciated at all. Like, damn, Christian can really do this. I don't see him winning 12, 13, 14 like some of the other people did, but to be a 6 or 7 time champion, maybe. Sure, most definitely.
But it's just like you said, when we was talking about, Walter Gunther, we was talking about his reign where he was like, he's one of those guys where he may not have, the 13, 14 reigns. He may have about 5 or 6
He's gonna have a
reigns, but they're
long
going to be
title.
long. Christian Cage didn't have many world title reigns, but bro, he was the champion in Impact for 2 years. So like, you can never take that away.
He went undefeated for
Undefeated for 2 years. Excuse me.
he lost the championship, but he didn't take the pin. So, in a triple threat multi-man, you can lose without
Yeah.
losing. And he lost without losing. But for 2 years, you went through Impact and you never lost. How the
That's
hell
wild.
How the hell do you never lose? But when you look back and you look at how he did it, hey man, he made that shit work.
All right, so let's see. We got the Hardys, we got ENC. Now we can go on to the brothers from Dudleyville. And you know what's crazy? Much like many others, my stupid ass really believe these two clearly different race people were actual blood brothers.
Hey man, they can be mixed racial brothers, so it wasn't too far fetched.
Until you see Spike Dudley, you're like, yeah, so clearly somebody don't fit in this picture.
Man. Look, Spike Dudley. I'm like, man, look, hey, mama, mama could have. They could be step brothers, they could be half and half. They could have had the same mama or something like that. Hey, Bubba Ray, mama, of course, daddy was white, but mama said, "Ooh, I want to dip in some chocolate." Bam, here come Devon. So, hey, it is what it is. It can happen like that. That's not far fetched and shit. But I was down with it. I was good with it. Like, man, these are brothers. Oh, this is awesome. Let's go.
We often talk about reinvention, and when you look at the Bubba Ray character from ECW, and then what he became in WWE. Devon, same thing, man. They end up growing and metamorphosizing together as a tag team. But like you say, Bubba Ray now, Bully Ray, we're going to have more singles individual success, but you still can't take away. I believe they're 17-time tag team champions. I believe is what it is.
No, my sir. You're
what
talking
22
time,
24
time world tag team champions.
Right, and you got to talk about you got anybody, man. That's all for me. ECW. WWE, like everywhere. Much like the Hardy.
So they got the WWE title reign, TNA Impact, Ring of Honor. Yep. Like these boys, New Japan, like these guys have literally
everywhere,
gone all over the world and won every single chance and all the wrestling promotions at that time and height of when they were the Dudley Boyz.
And then you go back to ECW with Paul Heyman, right? You got they had feuds with the Gangsters, New Jack, Mustafa Saeed. You had Sabu and RVD, and I feel like, man, when you much how the Hardy Boyz had their own style, and then you had Edge and Christian, they had their own thing. And I know that you could clump all three of them. And when you talk about TLC, but the Dudley Boyz, man, it was two things when you thought about the Dudley Boyz. You thought about hardcore violence, and you thought about them damn tables. And to me, I feel like the Dudley Boyz is one of those groups, man, where the gimmick may have almost transcended the actual people. Because every time, man, you just expected, hey, Devon, get the tables. But, they also had the titles. They had Bully. Devon wasn't the greatest on the mic. Bully was more the talker. And then when you added Spike Dudley, he kind of became like, the glorified spot monkey of the group. But when you talk about the original Bubba Ray and Devon, dude, they looked credible against any and everybody. Now, when we're going to talk about next, the Road Warriors, I feel like the Dudley Boyz, man, when it just came to, there's very few people that can get you to love them just as much or equally as they get hated. You got a lot of people that, hey, they're way better faces than heels. You got some that's way better heels than faces. And you got some that's kind of whatever in the both. When the Dudley Boyz needed to be hated, especially Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, he said some of the most vile shit to the crowd, and you really wanted to fuck him up. And if it wasn't for the fact he was 315 plus pounds, you might have tried. But then, when they were faces and they were putting everybody, including Mae Young and everybody else's mama through tables, you cheered the shit because they knew how to manipulate and engage the crowd, not only in the ring, but when it came to their promos. And then again, they were one with the antics too, right? You talk about Edge and Christian with the 5-second pose, Dudley Boyz coming out with them goofy ass Chucky Finster glasses up here dancing with Too Cool and shit,
Oh, my brother, testify.
And don't forget, we talk about Goldust with the stuttering gimmick. Hey, Bubba did it first. So, but he would go out there and whoop your ass. Bro, to me, I will say this. I'm going to say the Dudley Boyz to me, are, even though they have all the tag team gold in the world, I still feel like they're underrated and underappreciated. Because to me, all the tag team conversations I've heard, I've never heard the Dudleys put on the Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling. It seemed like they always kind of like get skipped over, or it's more like of an honorable mention. But I really think when you look at their body of work, Bully's still out here doing shit. When you look at their body of work as a tag team, a true tag team, dude, they're one of the tops. Like you have to put them in that conversation.
No, and most definitely, first and foremost, Kimberly, what's happening, Mama?
What's up, Kim?
No, you're definitely right. As far as that aspect, they are definitely one of the top tag teams in the business. And when you think about their work rate and what they've done in the ring, and these guys, it's kind of like when there were certain teams that you needed like a tough team for them to go up against. You got the Dudleys. Like if you wanted. When you think of like some of the teams they had to, the Brothers of the Destruction, when you think of, going up against the Hardy Boyz, when you think about going up against the greatest tag team, when you think about, some of the stuff they've been able to do, they've had some really great matches. I do think there's a bit of underappreciation because they've done a lot to really get that top spot. But we also there may be a bit of overrated with some people because some people don't look at them that way. When you look at Edge and when I talked about Edge and Christian, that the charismatic of them being able to do a goofy promo for 20 minutes. Yeah. Dudley Boyz would never do that. When you think of backstage segments that really are not so much just entertaining, but just kind of show the characters more, the Dudleys were never there for that. So it was really predicated more on just the moment of what was going on at that time. They did a lot of stuff that made you hate them. Bubba Ray, actually, I didn't think Devon was that bad on the mic. I think, given the opportunity, I think they both were pretty good on the mic, but they were never doing segments in that way. So sometimes they didn't, I guess when you want to look at the entertainment aspect of it, yeah, they weren't as much as there, but they were definitely in ring. They were definitely one of the top guys and teams in ring. So I think there is a bit of underappreciation for them because again, I don't know how you not put the Dudleys in like your top 5 of tag teams. Like they're in my top 5. Like honestly, at least 3. I can't officially say who my top 5 is, but it's most of the people we're talking about today. And when you I hate to do it to him like that because Devon didn't have much of a singles run. There wasn't much success. He's a TNA Legends champion, I think. I think that's the biggest and hot. This top, that's his top title that he's won as a singles. Bubba Ray, to me, I never looked at Bubba Ray as a world champion. The whole Aces and Eights thing, it made sense. It just wasn't something I cared to see. I don't think I cared to see Bubba be a world heavyweight champion. But then again, I never really looked at the Dudley Boyz outside of tag team. And that's why it's like, I don't really like, Bubba was, he was a little bit more successful. Not to say, again, these guys can't go in the ring with anybody, and Bubba's character development, as far as impact, man, he was definitely a totally different guy. And when you talk and listen to him now, you can hear how articulate that he very is. Right. I wish, I don't know, man. I didn't. That was the only time I saw it there. With Christian, you can see it in different companies where, okay, even if he had to go to Impact to do it after he left, he came back to WWE. He was instant 3-time, 4-time world champion. So it's like, you look at that impact of that. But again, we're not just focusing on individuals. We're, we want to point it out, but together as a tag team, man, bro. Like they definitely they were definitely underappreciated, but I think a bit overrated.
Okay. Hey, dude, again, everything you just said, I can't dispute that. There will be no Hardy Boy re-questioning of you on that one.
No. Hardy Boyz, I had to rethink that one. No, they were because they were really pretty. They were always there. They were always like, as soon as that music hit, it was just you just got this, and this is the fans. This ain't even them. This is the fans. The fans going crazy. So it's like, but they felt that way about all 3 teams at that height. But
right,
and the Dudley Boyz had that respect. But it was just something, but I think it was only more for them if it was one of those teams, but any other time it was cool. Now when they came back to WWE, I thought they were gonna beat the New Day. I thought that would have been cool. They would have been the most tag teams to win the most tag, but Vince didn't want that to happen, which I thought was kind of BS. Because I thought, you built that up to where the Dudleys could have won, but
Right.
you could have had a nice little rivalry with the New Day. I think that would have been something if that had moved forward. But Vince being who he is and his infinite wisdom, he dropped the ball.
Bro, this last group, and I wanted to save them for last because, this is one of the teams that are really bring generations together. To this day, you hear new performers, old performers, upcoming performers, and they say the same thing, man. When they come out to that crowd, they want to chase that Road Warrior pop, and that's crazy to when you get such an ovation, you get such a reaction, you elicit such emotion. They give
Go
you
ahead, put
your
my
own
boys on the
name.
screen. Go ahead, put my boys on the screen. Go ahead, put my
With
boys on the screen.
no
Go ahead, put them
further
G's on
ado,
the screen. Go ahead, put my boys up there.
what a rush. We
Yeah.
got the Road Warriors. My guy,
AKA
I'm going to
Legion
let
of
you finish
Doom,
this
baby.
one off.
Legion of Doom, baby, flat out, man. That you just said it. Oh, what a rush! And as soon as that shit hit, it was like, oh, it's ass kicking time. Let's
Yes, sir.
go. Let's go. It didn't matter who it was. You didn't matter what's going on, Pop. It didn't
What up,
matter
Pop?
who they were going up against, man. You wore them shoulder pads with the spikes. You had the face paint down. You had the mohawk. You had the double mohawk. Whatever. You had it all. You growled. You had that mean look. You coming out on some bikes. With the bikers. You got the gang bike. You got the Hell's Angels riding with you. Hell's Angels scared to ride with the Road Warriors. Nah, look there, man. Legendary tag team, man. You talk about guys that their characters had such an impact. It ain't even so much as what they did in the ring, because they weren't a flashy team. This is not a Pop says, my opinion, greatest tag team. Hey,
Absolutely.
respect. The Road
They up
Warriors,
there on the
man,
Mount Rushmore, I guarantee
they
you.
all like I said, man. I told you my top 5 is we talking about most of them right now. So and the Road Warriors are definitely top 3 on my list. Dude, this was my tag team. This was my dude. Them against the Demolition, the Nasty Boys, Arn Anderson and them. Like when you seen them go up against those teams, when you seen them go in WCW, when they came back to WWE, they were still whooping everybody's ass. And it was like, man, these guys can win any and everywhere. They have won any and everywhere, man. And I guess for the time, dynamic and entertainment really wasn't so much as it wasn't such a big deal as far as them needing to talk, because it really wasn't much to say. It wasn't like they needed a whole lot to say, because they didn't really want to talk too much anyway. They just wanted to whoop ass. But to have that aura, to have that presence when you go out and you work in the ring and you see this big dude jumping off the top rope, clotheslining the hell out of somebody and giving that doomsday device.
Yes,
and
sir.
when you just see the intimidation factor that these guys brought in. Again, when we talked about the Steiners, and I had to throw them out there last time we did the show, because man, those are one of those teams where they gave you that hard-nosed wrestling that you love. And this is where the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, this is where they come from. They come from that hard-nosed wrestling. So I just want to read off some of these boys' tag team, accomplishments. All Japan NWA International Tag Team Champions. Man, they were the International Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They were the AWA World Tag Team Champions. The Catch Wrestling Association, CWA World. Tag Team Champions, World Japan Tag Team Champions, Georgia Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions, Mid-Atlantic, Mid-East, Midwest Territories, the NWA, New Japan, New Pro Wrestling, WCW, Sports Illustrated, Top Tag Team, 83, 84, 85, 88, Field of the Year, 87, ranked 25 out of 50, but ranked number one ranked number one of 100 best tag teams. Man, like, dude, these guys here, And of course, man, we lost we lost one of our fallen road warriors, due to a heart attack in 2003. So, Animal tried to, he tried to continue it on for a while, that he did, and it worked for a minute. But just overall, man, real quick, man, this team was, it says, what is about the intro music for Chicago wrestlers and teams? Road Warriors and the Bulls had the best intro music, and they always did. Pop, they always had the best music.
Yeah, them Jordan Bulls.
It's just something about that. And
Yeah,
then that them drums and that guitar get to hitting, and then
yeah,
you go, oh, rush, and then it's like, y'all about to get it. But to see some of the matches that they've had, to see them come in and beat the tyrants in the tag team divisions that they needed to beat, they got lost. They lost. They had their get backs, but the Road Warriors were definitely, they were just intimidating off top, man. You feared them, but you respected them. And yeah, man, we got a lot more tag teams that we definitely gonna reach on and talk about. And we will, but we wanted to make sure we show some tag teams some love, man, for these last 3 episodes. But man, I think honestly, even when we do go back, when we do it again and we bring back up the tag teams, I'm gonna bring up some other tag teams, but boy, it's nothing like them Road Warriors, man. But for me, and I know I'm a little older than you, so but for me to see them back in at their most primal time against a lot of the guys that they were going up against, that I was able to remember and just see, dude, the Road Warriors were every bit of what you want out of a tag team. You want that excitement, you want that fear factor, you want that respect, you want everything that they had as a tag team. You want that to be not so much as you don't want to look like them, but you want everything that they bring to the table to make yourself a great tag team. World War is definitely one of those prime examples.
bro. 25 years, 7 and 3 month age gap is not a little bit older, but I do agree.
Right, but it is, but hey, but it is what it is, man. Hey, man, this is why we do this, man, because we want to talk this talk with y'all, man. But no, man, the Road Warriors were definitely, man, they were definitely a team that you respected, man. LOD, Legion of Doom. It's like, man, it didn't matter. You getting your ass whooped. you getting your ass whooped, man. And is and Champ said to see them on TV and then to see them in person, OMG, they were big. And they were big. But that's what I liked about them. They were big guys that can move and they were quick. And if you didn't, and they could, and I don't know, man, it was just about seeing big guys that are willing to jump off of stuff and clothesline people and just throw caution into the wind. Again, they weren't the high. These are no way high flying guys. They are grounded guys.
Yeah.
That don't mean they didn't do it from time to time. And definitely, like I say, that doomsday device.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there was just the way that they would just clothesline a guy and the guy would just flip off.
Over,
just like, dude, oh my God, he's about to land on his neck. And I think quite a few people actually did land on their necks. But hey, you shit, boy. They were pulling no punches. After you fought with them, you had bruises. You better rest up.
And that's the thing too. That move specifically, when you talk about the Doomsday device, when you watch it, the original, not when you try to recreate the shit with Hyder, right? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't. It just wasn't the same. But
they tried. Some things are better left untouched. But like you said, when they did that, bro, and like you said, the way we've seen people do the Doomsday device all throughout, ever since that Road War era was over with, but it never quite looked like the way they did it. Like you said, it was just something about the way they clothesline people from that high and the way their bodies just flipped. It was like, oh shit, this can go wrong at any minute. But every time they landed, man, this just looks so crazy. And like you said, you come out, you got the crowd going crazy, and this big beefy sons of bitches. And what did we say, man? Going back, you said the Steiner Bros, absolutely. They were big guys who shouldn't have been able to move as quick and be as agile as they are. I often think about a guy like a Brock Lesnar. That's just a complete freak of nature. There's no way you that goddamn big, solid, and just you got reflexes like that. Like that should be unnatural. Right. But that's the Road Warriors were. They were that anomaly.
Yeah, they were. They definitely were anomaly. But again, like I say, their presence, man, it was just their mere presence. Like you You've seen them, you wanted to see them, and especially when they, like I say, when you got teams like the Steiner Brothers, the Demolition, the Arnie's, when you got all these teams that were great tag teams coming up alongside of them, the Nasty Boys, like them and the Nasty Boys, man, the Nasty Boys. Like when there's just a lot of man, tag team divisions back then, man, was just something different. Everybody had their own thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Demolition always got they always caught flack for being kind of like the reject Road Warriors. Even though they had great run, they had the great Muda as of Mr. Fuji as their manager. They had some success, but they were kind of like the rip off, because when you look at them, they kind of almost mimic what the Road Warriors were, but it didn't work for them. But it worked enough to where they became something, but they weren't the Road Warriors. They always looked like that. But at the same time, man, nah, bro, we were. I was blessed to see some of their matches and just catch that aura, that all of them. And when they come out, and man, you just let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I said this last time, but this one actually topped last week's. I honestly thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one may now, if I didn't say it already, I'm saying now, this may be my favorite episode of the Over Under we've done so far.
I like the last week's better. I'm not gonna lie, man.
You like last week's better?
My favorite tag team moment will always go down in history as the Booker T brothers. Like that, like Clive. I'm never gonna let Clive let that down. I'm never gonna let him let that down. That was just that was the most messed up and funny thing ever, man. Like that was just like bro, my boy want to talk about the Booker T brothers? Okay, we gonna talk about the Booker T brothers. Hell no. So I'm gonna never let that one down. But I think last week's episode really had me, man. That one was because we was really going in on that one, and the people were going in with us on that one. So I liked it, this one, but this one was cool. We but there wasn't too much distinguishing in this one. I think we pretty much felt the same way about everybody. That last one, man, we were going way back and forth last time. That last one, we were really going back and forth at it, man. So this one, last week's was mine. That was, you like this one, I liked it last week, but today I think today was just more a fan service, man. We really just had people that everybody really liked. I don't think there's no one that had a problem with Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boyz, the Hardy Boyz, or the Road Warriors. I don't think nobody had a problem with those 4 teams. We gave you pretty much 4 fan service teams to talk about, so it's kind of hard to really kind of have to go back and forth on this one, man. I almost had a moment with the Hardy Boyz, but I really couldn't come up with nothing that would have validated it. So, you got to bow out and bow down when you can. But other than that one, bro, excited to do this one. What episode was it? This was episode 8 or 7?
7.
Okay, so we got 3 more to do before the end of the year. Before we take a break with the over unders. But yes, this definitely was the last tag team one we'll do. I don't know, man. We got to show the ladies some love, man. So I think we got to do an all women's. We definitely got to do an all women's episode for the next over under. So we definitely gonna have to reach in that bag and pull out some names, and we're gonna have to have some conversations.
You know who on the franchises list, man. You know who on the franchise.
Well, hold on. I think we already talked about her, so I don't even know if you can't even put her on your list. I gotta look at the list and look at who we talked about already.
I'm gonna put her on every list that there's a woman. Every woman.
She a new name now, huh? She's a new company. She got a new name. So you can talk about it. Okay, I got you. I got what you said. I hear you. I hear what you're putting down. But no, we most definitely gonna have to, show some love to the ladies. Because talking about tag teams really want too many women's tag teams to really talk about. We could name a couple, but WWE did so bad with them. We don't want to, because we would have to say some things I don't want to say. So let's not. I'd rather give the ladies their respect on a different way, individually, than try to do it as a tag team. So yeah, next episode, man, it's ladies' night. We going. What they say? They say ladies' nights mostly Thursday nights anyway. Well, next Thursday is gonna be ladies' nights, man. We're gonna get that in with the people.
Yes, sir. For the ladies. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of the GOW Pops. Thank you for tuning in. Kimberly, thank you for tuning in. And as always, I'm the franchise. He's the king. But don't worry, because we'll be back tomorrow for the Friday night block party, baby. But until then, man, we'll see y'all when we see you. Peace.